Welcome to Purposeful Transitions. My name is Erica Bryan. The intention behind Purposeful Transitions is to bring a pause and cultivate awareness to the moments we can easily dismiss in our lives, which are the moments in between moments. I call this a transitional space. Over my 10 years in the medical field and as a yoga teacher, I have often seen all professionals rush into the next moments of their journey, bringing in the residue from their past experiences. Join me as we learn ways to enhance a deeper understanding of our transitions, allowing purposeful transitions to strengthen self-awareness, relationships, our own contributions, and tapping into the field of possibilities. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Purposeful Transitions. This is Erica Bryan. Welcome to this podcast where we explore the space between moments and allow a little more of a purposeful approach to our transitions to ensure that we're entering this new space at the purest form of ourselves. Now, just think about how often we rush these moments. Excited to get into the new moment, excited to take advantage of that endeavor, that soon the moment passes us by and we didn't really extract the value or share our gifts, our love, our talents. And then we just have this collection of moments where we just moved by default. And when we do that, we're really only recycling the past. So part of my intention with this podcast is to share stories, my own experiences, so you guys are able to dive a little deeper in my understanding of my journey and the tools that have helped me heal from my past and live a more intentional life, as well as strengthen my relationships with those that I've chosen to allow to be a part of my circle. But then also give you the resources to then integrate into your own practice, in your journey, in your own way. There are some healing modalities that don't resonate with everyone, and that's why some of us are still kind of in the realm of pain and hurt and feeling stuck. So I'm hoping that by enhancing our awareness of the transitional space, that we'll find purpose in your way, in your own way, and bring out a little more of exploration onto your experiences. So that way you're really, really living each moment fully. Now, parts of each podcast, we're going to begin with a breath exercise. And if you've ever come to one of my classes, you know that I'm definitely advocate for breath work, especially at the beginning of class, because I truly feel like breath is the bridge, is that transitional space as well, where we can then embrace it, let go of what was, so we can expand into what is. So let's go ahead and begin with breath. If you are not driving or operating equipment that is required for your attention, I encourage you to create a pause and come into our cleansing breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose, then exhale out through the mouth, releasing a gentle sigh. Couple more times. Inhale, exhale. Good, last one. Good. Then shifting the breath, breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. With every inhale, we allow the breath to become deeper, and every exhale to be complete. Now, this is your diaphragmatic breath, allowing you to expand the lungs and ribcage a little deeper. It's known that most of us only utilize half of our lung capacity. So by intentionally taking in a little more oxygen with every inhale, we're expanding into those deeper breaths, oxygenating your body to its full potential. That alone will nourish the cells in your body, which will then nourish the tissues that help to form the organs. And the organs are part of your systems that synergize together, allowing you to perform at your optimal levels. Just notice how it feels here. To expand breath. Very good. And notice how it feels. It only really takes a minute to help reset. 1 minute equates to about 10 breaths. So really, it doesn't take that much, right? And it also takes your blood to leave your heart. It takes a minute for your blood to leave your heart, move throughout your body, and then return back to your heart. So a full cycle of blood within you is about a minute. So 10 breaths, reset completely. So let's dive into what transitional spaces are, so that way we become more purposeful with our approach. Now, in these moments, there are 3 things that we can do, and this is the P effect, right? So the first one is to create the pause, and we've already done that. We created the pause, established our breath, so then now we're able to observe. Check in with your body, check in with your mind, check in with your spirit. And maybe since this is our first time perhaps coming to know these understandings, is maybe you can gauge, like, where do you gauge your spiritual strength, your physical strength, and your emotional strength? Like, would you feel as though pretty confident to say, yeah, I'm really solid in my emotional state, I'm pretty strong in my physical body, and then my spiritual practice, it's very solid, and I feel like I'm grounded enough to be able to manage any challenge that comes my way. So just check in, because different challenges are going to call different parts of ourselves to show up in these moments. And if we're not spiritually strengthened, if we're not physically strong, if we're not emotionally prepared, then it's really hard. These experiences can sweep us off our feet. So where would you gauge that level of resilience, that level of strength, that level of awareness? Definitely a great dialogue to explore. So with that, once you have this awareness of your mind, body, and spirit, I'm going to share with you one thing I do in the community is I infuse my Aztec tradition into many of my practices, whether it's yoga, sound healing, or meditation. I truly believe that there is so much knowledge with the Aztec culture. Part of their belief was to create these sacrifices. And of course, they were pretty gruesome back then. But it was a level of sacrifice to honor one of the gods. And back then we did human sacrifices. So thank goodness we moved away from that. But now the level of sacrifice, we can still embody that. So what is it that you are sacrificing in order to create a bigger vibration, a bigger energy expression for something you really value? For example, being a single mom has been very challenging. However, I've devoted my life to create healing, to create a beautiful healing environment in our home, to create dialogues with the children. And of course, with all this is beautiful, but it has taken away from my own exploration of my own journey as well, traveling and having personal relationships. It's really hard to engage in everything when my intention is to create the best foundation for my two children. So with that, I feel like it's an honorable sacrifice to move away from personal relationships in order for me to dive deeper into creating what I want to do. And a lot too is healing in the community as well. I would not be able to heal at the capacity that I am in my delivery if I was attached to anything else that was calling my attention. So we have to be very careful in how we conduct ourselves in the things that we value. We cannot spread ourselves out so thin, because then our contributions to the things that we value are in a way diluted. And I feel like that's where we've come away from really finding purpose and finding value to things, is because we have either overworked ourselves or we're involved in too many relationships, too many things that have become temptations, distractions, that we're no longer living with intention. It's just a big spread of all these different things. But anyways, that can be another conversation. So it's important to know what you're working towards. So all that sacrifice and the things, what is your intention? What is your intention in this next part of your becoming? Whether you're aware of it or not, you're in the process of becoming something. If you're not intentional about it, then your becoming will become defaulted. And remember, like I said earlier, whenever we're in the default state of mind, then we're just repeating the past. So part of the Aztec tradition is to create these sacrifices, but then also keep in mind that we're sacrificing in order to keep something moving forward. So the growth and mental, physical, and spiritual state of my children, making sure that they're evolving in the most healthiest way. What is your intention? Is it to embark in a new endeavor, a career, a relationship, a new skill set? What is that? What does that look like? And then when you have that in mind, then we're able to then place our life energy, our attention. So wherever you place your attention on, you give that specific thing life energy to move forward. And you have to create certain sacrifices, right, in order to place more of your energy in that. So that way it leads to that manifestation. So find that intention and move towards it. Create the sacrifices with that. So by creating this transitional space, we're able to really create a pause. So we're able to see what we're working towards with intention. Part of the Aztec tradition too is that they knew their intention, they knew their sacrifices, but then they also knew that each day was the opportunity to strengthen and sharpen their tools, to prepare for battle. So there is one day of the Mayan calendar where we talk about the flint knife. And the flint knife reminds us that you never want to go to war, or you never want to hunt with a dull knife, meaning that we have to stay prepared. You have to sharpen your mental knife. You have to sharpen your physical strength knife. You have to sharpen your spirituality knife. What are you doing to keep these parts of yourself strong and prepared for battle, for challenge, for hunting? So that's where I was trying to get to, just to that point, is every day we are encouraged to be strengthened mentally, physically, and spiritually, because these battles and challenges are a part of our growth. We need it. So where can you strengthen your emotional state? Is it through the practice of meditation? Is it through the practice of prayer? How about physical body? Do you like to weight train? Do you like to do yoga? What kind of exercise do you like to do to keep your physical body moving? And then your spiritual strength. What are you doing to stay connected to spirit? Are you serving? Are you praying? Are you meditating? So many things can be also used interchangeably. So where are you creating that awareness and that resource, bringing it in so that we're able to then move into that space? So we all create this in that form of pause, okay? And then we move into the next phase, which is process. After you create the pause, you're able to process the details of what you have come to know. how you have been contributing? And is all that in alignment with your next becoming or what you wish to embrace? So how are you processing these details? The Buddha once expressed that it's not so much in the accumulation of things that we learn from. It's in the moments of silence, because then we're able to then process. We're able to extract the resources and integrate them into our lives. We create that. Processing. Process the childhood. Process those first relationships. Process your contribution. Process all these little details of your day. Then when you do that, you get introduced to synchronicity. Synchronicity is this beautiful connection, this beautiful relationship we have with the universe, where the universe is orchestrating itself, aligning you with people you have yet to come to know, aligning you with opportunities. It's a beautiful, synchronized expression of love, I feel. And then part 3 is make the plan. How do you plan to utilize what you have extracted, what you have become aware of, into the next experience that you're about to receive? And I like to say, make it a flexible plan. Because in this flexible plan, we don't become rigidly attached to a certain outcome. Because again, your mind is formulated by the experiences you have come to know. Therefore, if we become rigidly attached to a certain outcome, then we become constricted. And we really want to shift into a more expansive state, because in that expanded state, you're able to then receive and tap into possibilities that there are other outcomes and other approaches to a certain experience. Therefore, create the plan, but allow it to be a flexible plan. So you're able to place yourself in the space of possibility and receive what is yours. Yeah, so notice how that settles into your understandings. Create that space between thoughts, that space between words, that space between experiences. And then you'll start to see and notice that there's a little bit of inspiration that sprinkles into your awareness. So one thing I'll do with each podcast is either share a story or have someone come in and share their experiences as well, because I truly feel in stories and connecting with one another is where we truly learn from. So throughout our lives, we're going to have a lot of these transitions, and really it's the moment between moments. So think about how often we've had them and ignored it or just pressed forward. One experience I will share that shifted a lot of this awareness in transition and trusting the process, that we don't have to force, we don't have to try to control it all. We set our intentions, we let it go, we do the work in the present moment by staying connected with those that are sharing that experience with us, and then noticing the opportunities unfolding before you. About a couple years ago, right before COVID hit, my side company was doing very well. And I was working in the hospital. For those that don't know, I worked in the healthcare setting for, I think it's about 14 years now. I was a physical therapist tech for about 8 of those years. I worked in psych hospitals too as an adjunctive therapist. So lots of great wealth when it comes to the healthcare setting. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. But I also love teaching yoga and all these healing modalities of meditation, sound healing, and Aztec teachings. That my side company was booked out for about 6 months. So I thought, okay, I can't do everything. So I really want to try to focus on what my heart is really wanting to expand into. So I gave my 2 weeks at the hospital. And the next month, COVID hit. And thank goodness that my leadership team there at the hospital did not want to let me go right away and really wanted to give me time to reconsider. And during that time and space, all my contracts froze because everything I did was in group settings. And because of COVID, we were really discouraged from doing anything in group settings. So with that, I just trust the process. I thought, I really thought about this moving forward with my company and putting my 2 weeks at the hospital. Like, it was not something easy for me to let go, but something I felt this universal energy that really prompted me to finally get in a place to put in my 2 weeks. So I stayed at the hospital. I'm actually still there, but I'm PRN now. So I feel like I'm in a good place with everything. I still have connections everywhere. However, there was a point where I had to transition away from the hospital. And during COVID, it was such an uncertain time and I couldn't do anything with my company yet. But luckily, this one of a very well-known company around the world hired me to come to one of their centers to help ease their employees because there was a lot of fear around COVID and the uncertainty of it. And they hired me as a health coach. And so I taught breath exercises and resiliency exercises. And it was a great contract to have. And that carried me through the intensity of COVID. So this is what I mean about trusting the process. And if you just honor this transition in each of your moments, you pause, process the details, create the plan, and just let it go. Let it go of trying to control. Enjoy the next experience, knowing that you're entering it at the purest form of yourself. That way you're able to then integrate what you have come to learn in that process of transition and also intentionally move forward, planting your skills, contributing in the things that are aligned with you and connecting with those solid relationships too, because people are going to be your resource. They're too going to share their gifts and talents with you. And it becomes this beautiful dance of sharing and receiving. So definitely, if you have any questions as well about these processes, feel free to email me at erica@returntoyourself.org. I also take privates, and if I'm open, I'm pretty booked out about 3 months in advance at this point. But just email me, let me know how I can serve. If you have a great transition story where you want to either allow me to help you process, or if there is a time where you just felt like you were able to process and you just are excited to share that story of growth, feel free to email me as well. I'd love to have you on here. I'd also love to just hear your story as well. So we're coming up to the 23rd minute now, and I'll share with you what that means a little later in the next podcast. 23 has always been a sacred number for me, so each podcast will be about 23 minutes. Well, I wish you all an amazing journey, and I pray that you will all enjoy these special, purposeful transition episodes, and that they will bless you as they have blessed me. Thank you, everyone, and namaste. Immense gratitude to you all for tuning in today. It was a true honor to be here in this time and space with you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at erica@returntoyourself.org. I'm also on Instagram as Om Namaste. Don't forget to check out Pause, Shift, and Refresh, the 7 Arts of Establishing Harmonious Oneness, and my workbook, Becoming 2.3, allowing you to expand in the desires you wish to embrace. I wish you all a beautiful and vibrant day. Until next time, be well.